In the United States, Black people experience violence at a higher level rather than any other race. And for decades, homicide has been one of the leading causes of death for young Black men. And this is no coincidence. We were divided on purpose. Almost every Black family knows someone who has been lost to trauma, violence, or someone who just didn't make it home. This isn't just statistics. This is trauma that was embedded in us. But the question isn't if we're affected. The question is, why are we affected? Well, let's really talk about it. Let's get to the bottom of it. Some of these things you may or may not know. But if you don't, I hope to make you aware. Let's talk about Project 1. COINTELPRO. In 1966, Black people were organized with structure. We loved one another, and we took care of one another. Many of you already should be aware of Black Panther as much as I talk about them, so you already know that they fed people, fought for one another, and so much more. We had so much power that the government was afraid of us. So how did the government destroy that type of unity? Well, the FBI launched a program called COINTELPRO. And honey, this is documented history. Now, the goal was not to arrest. The goal was mistrust. How to cause us confusion. How to make us hate one another. COINTELPRO was the FBI counterintelligence program. The purpose of this program was to disrupt and weaken our movement. They were setting us up and we didn't even know it. The FBI hired informants, and those informants reported our conversations, told our plans, who our leaders was, and so much more. And the FBI used that to create division. They sent fake letters pretending to be members, rival leaders, competing groups. The goal of all of this was to create suspicion, jealousy, and internal conflict, turning us against one another. Now, if people don't trust each other, they can't organize. And next came the Ghetto Informant Program. This wasn't just about organizations at this point. This went into everyday neighborhoods. People were recruited to report meetings, conversations, and local activity. This began to create an environment everywhere. Nobody could be trusted, and nobody knew who to trust. And when nobody know who to trust, community cooperation breaks down. Are you understanding? Okay, let's continue. And next is Operation Chaos. Now, this program was created in 1967, and the CIA was not supposed to operate in the United States. Its job is foreign intelligence. So what the hell was they doing? Well, breaking rules, of course. The CIA collected names, meetings, and personal details about us. They watched people, documented them. To my Instagram watchers, you can always watch this video on my YouTube as I'm running out of time. And to my TikTok people, you can continue to watch. Now, the CIA continued to document them and share information about them. It was then passed to the FBI and even local law enforcement. Ain't that crazy how big of a threat we was? Because our unity was that big of a deal. So while the FBI was infiltrating groups through COINTELPRO, the CIA was building intelligence in the background, creating a full picture of leaders, movement, and networks. That means that they were watching our leaders without them even knowing. They were flagged without any explanation and pressured without any warning. The power was surveillance. And when people are being watched, they self-censor. They stop trusting people. They divide. And they even pull back. This was a psychological thing at this point. And Operation Chaos ran into 1974 when it finally was exposed. They were exposed by congressional investigations. By then, the damage was already done. Now, division doesn't always come from force. It came from turning privacy into pressure. It comes from constant observations. So you think to yourself, how did they know where these leaders were at all times? They were harassed, and all they wanted to do was stand up for us. And you begin to understand why it's so hard for activists to group people together. Why it's so hard for them to put the pieces all back together. But I hope you understand how we were divided on purpose. Now, surveillance didn't just stop because a person went to jail. Project 5 was PRISACs. When activists were incarcerated, the monitoring continued. PRISACs continued to monitor leaders, activists, and all different type of activity inside. The letters were monitored, and still to this day it is. Organization still was disrupted. It was nothing they could do. There was no way for them to plan. All of our connections were disrupted. And this is exactly why leaders couldn't continue. They couldn't rebuild behind bars. They couldn't even do it on the street. When people ask us why our communities continue to struggle, the answer is never simple. But what it is very clear. This wasn't just accidental. It wasn't natural. It wasn't our people. It was perfectly designed, step by step. And this is why we say we were divided on purpose.